this poem was influenced directly from one of Kanye West's many provocative tweets. But this most recent one is when he said, slavery was a choice. So it's called hashtag if slavery was a choice. Kanye West says, when you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. No, Mr. West, marrying into the Kardashian family was a choice. Praising Donald Trump was a choice. Uttering provocative comments was a choice. In 1619, the Dutch brought 3 blacks to America from Africa as slaves. If slavery was a choice, Mars would be like, I didn't tell you to stop picking that cotton, boy. And I'd be like, that's my shift for today. I already signed out. This is your problem now. Slavery was conscripted for the African, for those with black skin, button noses, and knotted hair, many thanks to covert and structural racism, what we now call white privilege. And then Master starts tripping, belt buckle flipping, his feet doing that late night tripping down to the slave shacks, like on Bunce Island in Sierra Leone, where he and our ancestors would lay alone together. Refuse and he'd get angry. His temperament would change like the weather, and at the same time, the free blacks of the Americas, like the Maroons who fled slavery for forests, stuck it to the colonizers and their profits. If slavery was a choice, all he'd have to do was text abolition to 1863, Mr. West. If you really think slavery was a choice, you're going to love what happened next. Just text Jim Crow to 1865. Just text Selma to 1965. Just text Montgomery to 1955. Just text Malcolm to 1965. Just text King to 1968. And that was the fate of the slave trade's offspring. But according to you, slavery was a choice, published in the meandering mind of Supreme Overlord Kanye West. This is the same guy who had umpteen hits, great tracks, but then proceeded to call himself God and pledge himself to fat cats like Donald Trump, superseding Samuel L. Jackson's Uncle Tom figure in the film Django Unchained. I concede that you're worse because this is real life, not a film, not a kid's storybook written by children's authors like Maudie Blackman or A.A. Milne. You spout your crap on Twitter and TMZ to incite reaction, which is followed by media attraction. But this is the last straw. Slavery is history. It's raw. See, that's how you became you and I became me. Black people don't forget. We're not mermaids just looking pretty. We're the sirens and the stories of Odysseus and the Greeks. We're on the rocks, singing songs to drag the slavers down to the depths where they buried our ancestors. Whip muscled from marrow with 9-tail whip. We are the remnants of our grandparents' grandparents. We derive from those who survived the Middle Passage trip. Not all were so fortunate. Just look at the Zong case. Look at Jonathan Strong and Granville Sharp. Look at James Somerset. We are the descendants slavers feared. We lived. The strands of family trees survived the mutinies. Morin Bay. The Southampton insurrection, the Haitian Revolution, the unruly witch hunt in the American South, and in England, in places like Manchester, London, and Liverpool. If slavery was a choice, explain to me why the Underground Railroad exists. Truly, that's history. Sue me. Try telling Harriet Tubman who fled her master's wrath and then went back to have others in bondage. She freed she freed hundreds despite having a bounty on her head. And that's in a school of thought in Ode, Frederick Douglass, Aluda Equiano, Harriet Jacobs, Ottobah Kagano from Ghana, Mary Prince, a West Indian slave. It was do or die. Slavery is written into the dirt. It was written into places like Selma, Alabama, Edmund Pettus Bridge, named for the Grand Dragon in the Klan. White hoods and Confederate flags, flame-bearing, torch-wielding, black lynching our bodies swaying in the breeze of Jim Crow in that bridge still stands to this day, still called Edmund Pettus Bridge. If slavery was a choice, it would be Starbucks saying, you can work here, but twice as hard for not half as much as is the norm, but for no pay at all. If slavery was a choice, there would be Apple Care, saying you can work for us in the US and not pick cotton. Actually, it's Apple Care Plus, and you would need to opt in within 60 days of choosing to become a slave. Hand on the Bible, and whoa, 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 Mr. West. If you get hurt on the job, how does the workers' union pay you again? Pension, health care, equal rights, but you need to fill out a form on the employee Wi-Fi, and when the overseer calls you a nigger, you need to call the white HR official. You are then fired because HR isn't there to protect the employees, but to protect the institution, the company, the clan. If slavery was a choice, there'll be a field cookout on Labor Day. If slavery was a choice, I'll be raiding Master's fridge for the cookout. If slavery was a choice, I'll be making Superfly outfits out of Master's cotton. If slavery was a choice, I'll be at Slave University looking like Prince walked onto the set of Coming to America. If slavery was a choice, I'll be telling Master to pick his own mother flipping cotton. Thank you.